And we are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1. Somehow, oh my God, get your thoughts in about this one. There is so much to unpack. I've got 3 pages of notes that I've made. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you know what? Again, there's so many things to unpack in this game. One of them being, how did we not get anything out of that game? The amount of points, the amount of shots on goal, the amount of opportunities we created. I've not seen that. That was the best performance I've seen this season. Granted, it's only been a few games, but it's a really weird. I mean, the first half we were hanging on for dear life. We genuinely were. We were weathering the storm a little bit. Certain players we're getting a little bit lucky in certain places, and then we'll get into the sending off and things as well. Let me go into the formation. So, Brendan Rodgers, again, you're thinking about the team that he played. You're thinking, okay, he sets up with a 4-1-4-1. Looks like it's got, 4-1-4-1, more like a 4-3-3. I'll put a 4-1-4-1 because that made sense before I saw the game. Then looking into it, Ward at the back. Again, we'll touch on him a little bit more. Daniel Amate. Don't know why he persists with Amate. Castagna. Just as I was saying that, Ethan's body. Why play Marty again? Totally agree. I'm a big fan of Daniel Amate. Not in a back two, not like this. No. He looked well under the par of a lot of players of that. The thing is, people are saying Rodgers out, and I totally get it. However, I think this is the time where we go, do you know what? Credit to the team for giving it all they've got until the last minute of the game. How many times? Look at Southampton game last time where we all just fell apart. We completely fell apart. And we're like, where is their mentality? Where is this Foxes never quit thing that we always shout about? And we always go, okay, this is really, really important. Just checking my microphones. Yep, all should be good for the microphone as well. But however, it is just, do you know what? Because we were such in the dirt even for the Stockport game that I didn't manage to see. The fact that they went all the way to 90 minutes and they gave us a performance where we were on the edge of our seat going, we're still in this, we're still in this. People won't want to hear this, but I actually rate the manager for doing this. I still think he should go. I still think that the mentality isn't good enough. But in this game, and for the sake of this 90 minutes, we need to look at it and go, do you know what? We need to give credit where it's due. And a part of that was, again, people that haven't turned up so before. Now, let's go to the back four. Johnny Evans did pretty well, to be perfectly honest with you. Daniel Amate, not happy with him. I don't know why Brendan decides to play him, to be perfectly honest with you. Castagna, I thought, did well. Looked a little bit more tired. Normally, we see Castagna bombing up and down that wing, giving loads of width, loads of opportunities. He was good, but I know he's got levels to really go up and increase a few more. I'd give him a 6 out of 10, 6, 7 out of 10. He wasn't bad. And a good performance, I'd say. James Justin, today, was the best game I've seen him have in a while. Yes, for the point, his battle with Reece James was fantastic a lot of the time. I really enjoyed the battling. He was defending quite well. He was going forward. He seems like he's getting back into the old swagger that we know James Justin can be. And we see him when he came into the team when Ricardo Pereira had an injury. Ironic because it's literally deja vu at the same thing at the moment. He built on that and he created a lot. However, in that first half, we were all at sea. We were just hanging on for dear life. Gallagher gets sent off for 2 obvious yellows, and then it kind of changed the game. We've got Akash here. Akash, we're just talking about the Gallagher red card. It was a clear red, but at the same time, didn't really change the game too much in that first half.
It should have, but it didn't, and that was an unfortunate situation because now you are playing most of the game against 10 men, and everything will be will be put under the microscope, so everything will be judged. So that way we played like, I think towards the end we really tried to salvage something out of this, but 10 men versus 11, that speaks volumes because it didn't look like it was 10 versus 11.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, but in terms of again, when Gallagher got sent off, I thought, right, it's an opportunity to get back into the game. Leicester City's mentality is so strange. I don't quite understand it at points. So again, the fact is, in that game, again, there wasn't too many opportunities, but at the point, again, So Gallagher was sent off. I think even Chelsea fans go, yeah, that was clear that he should have been sent off. Two obvious fouls for that. Barnes again, but I think Barnes had a good. He was a little bit there, and then he came more in the second half. However, the referee was just getting cards left, right. It reminded me very similarly at the Chelsea ground of the 2016. Remember the Chelsea Tottenham game where there was just yellow card after yellow card after yellow card. This felt very similar, and I thought there was potentially even going to be another red in there in the second half.
Could have gone another red that would have made, I think, that would have actually benefited Chelsea if we got a red, because they were dominating throughout most of the part and they came pretty close. Even the Sterling miss was a chance that they could have put it in, but we have to go back to the chance that, the goal that was chopped off from our side. I think that really shifted the momentum of the game. I don't say that we had the quality and the feasibility to pull this game off, but I think that goal could have been a easy shout for a draw, even because we weren't expecting too much out of this game. But then again, seeing the team really try, and I think the last 10 minutes were just fantastic. Vardy missing two or three chances. Uh, Clearly, we need quality on a lot of areas. There is room for improvement, but I just see it as this team has, reached its ultimate state under Brendan Rodgers, and if then they just don't look motivated. And if you don't implement a new manager with new philosophy, they have given up. Each player has have forgotten how it feels to win, and that is the same case for the fans.
You see, I'd kind of agree with you. However, the way we turned it around in the second half was surprising. I mean, Jamie Vardy, people mentioning it in the comments, like he should have had a hat trick, and I'm like, I kind of agree. It just shows you the state of the football club we are at the moment. But I have to give credit to the team and even the manager, even though I still want him gone. The fact that he turned it around, he made the changes that he did. Because again, Dennis Pratt didn't have his best game. Samore, I want to get your thoughts on Samore. I was surprised he was taken off at 50 minutes. However, 55 minutes. What did you think of him? Because again, that's one of the first games he's played in the Premier League. What did you think?
Clearly, he didn't deserve to be pulled out of this game. I think he was holding up quite all right, considering that the amount of limited opportunities that he have got throughout last season and this season, and there is constant talks of him going away to Monaco. But even that move is stalling, so I don't know what the future plans for him are. But if Rogers is including him at this state, I think there is a shout that he might stay this season. And if he does, we need the services of Sumare, because this is the guy we bought from Ligue 1 champions, and he has the potential to reach and unlock his game in the Premier League. But we just haven't given him proper time to settle in, because each of this player that we purchased last season, I think even Lookman deserved more chances to really showcase his game and adapt to this team. Same goes for Patson Daka, barely getting any chances this season. Last season, Kelechi Iheanacho was riding on an all-time high spirit, but Brendan Rodgers didn't do him any justice, and he was put far out on the bench. That made him rusty. And you saw today, I think a 3-year-old kid takes a better shot than that he anticipated. It was so slow and sluggish. It was just disheartening to see. But you can see the intricacies that he has, because he maneuvered a beautiful pass to Harvey Barnes to finish into the box, back pass. So you see flashes of greatness from each of these players, but they do need time. And I understand there is 5 substitutions to be made, and if you think you can inflict and influence the game, you need to introduce those substitutions. But then again, when does these players get their fair chances? Because today you saw NDD sit out, and I think I think in that regard, to fill NDD's shoes, Sumare did quite all right.
I think so too, and I think considering at the time I was like, why is he taking them off? And him and Pratt, but Pratt didn't really settle in the game how I thought he could, especially on a yellow as well. The two substitutions again, it's about people are like, oh, how dare you defend the manager? I've seen it in the comments, but I'm saying let's give credit where it's due. Perez came on, played well. Nacho came on. I think he was pretty much the game changer. Created some great opportunities in the middle of the park, driving into, making some nice 1-2s with people, bringing other people into the game. Kelechi Iheanacho, he was really, when he came on, I'm not too surprised because he's really good. But I've just got He comes on and immediately makes things happen. And I think a lot of the things that we actually developed in that second half were because of him. And he helped step the players up around him and go, right, we're gonna get back in the game, even if we are. I think it was 1-0 at that point. But I was really impressed with Kelechi today.
You mentioned two players. In case of Jose Perez, I think a real Betis move would do him good also, considering the amount of funds we can still generate out of this window. I think that is a very viable move. Also for Jose Perez, I think in a Real Betis team, he obviously gets a start, and it's a team in La Liga, so he will fit right in. But if you have seen Pride for the last 6 7 months, I think he's not that influential if you start him. But coming off the bench into the second half, I think he plays a very key role developing the attacks that tiring legs can't. And I think for that reason, if Brendan Rodgers, and he agrees to be a rotationary player, I think that's good as any signing that you can integrate slowly into the team because he knows the landscapes of this league. And I don't feel that. I mean, yeah, if you give him start, he's a pretty risky case. But if you utilize him properly, I think he can be a good shout out. Even for Kelechi Iheanacho, as I said, chances have been exclusive for him, and I can't really blame him. But the flashes that I see, yeah, finishing has been poor, but apart from that, he really holds up the ball. He plays well within the box. He is very selfless, and that helps the team in a long way. So I would want to see how the front line shapes up because there is I don't think except Jamie Vardy and Harvey Barnes, Brendan Rodgers has plans for anybody else in that front line. So only rotationary roles for Iheanacho and Daka, I think that's very, very harsh.
The fact that we didn't see Daka at all was a little bit surprising, and we'll come on to that Jamie Vardy and some of his chance he missed as well. But coming again, but just before that, in terms of Samore Perez and Prat Nacho substitutions, Sterling hit the post, and again, a great save by Danny Ward just to knock it back. Cucurella was all over us. And considering we're the team that comes into that second half going, they've got 10 men, it's 0-0, it's our opportunity to go kill the game. Leicester just looked too slow. Daniel Amate just not closing down once again, and he's still being picked in a back two. Does surprises me so much, but it could have been a lot worse, and Sterling probably should have had a hat trick, to be honest.
Sterling definitely missed his chance to score a hat trick. I think that could have gone very well for the Chelsea fans because he was not performing as far as he did in City because obviously the supply line is much more shallow in the Chelsea line. You need to work harder. But in City, you can just rack up those goals, tally in numbers. So yeah, very legitimate shout out. I think that's where the blame comes that Raheem Sterling can't often finish in important situation as you see in England in an England shirt and often in Champions League stages in a Manchester City shirt. But talking about us, I think each game of this season was played in two halves. One half, I don't think we can nitpick particulars because we lacked in quality. But against some teams, I think we played Brentford and Southampton. Quality doesn't matter really, but it was a game of two halves. But in this one, I think it was divided into equal three parts because the first half we played so well. Then at the start of the second half, I think we forgot that we had a man advantage and Chelsea just got the lead. And again, during the end, we got back our wits and we performed to, I think, one of the best displays that I have seen from pre-seasons to this point in this season. So there is promise, but as I keep on saying, you see these flashes against Chelsea, you see in the next game against Manchester United, if we even salvage a draw, that is not the right mentality to think. Okay, Brendan Rodgers can settle in. It's just not right because he should have gone a long time, and we are sticking with him. We don't have a plan in place for the transfers. Everyone now in the market knows how much money we hold, and we have shown all our cards. Even to deal with Wesley Fofana, I think we showed what we were dealt with. We showed our hand, and that has beaten us massively because a lot of people cannot understand why Wesley Fofana is so costly. But for us, is it really a spectacular deal? Because I feel we have lost a good chunk of our squad depth, and we are in a terrible position after losing that. So 75 million doesn't suffice. So there is a plenty of things that I want to speak about this move. But talking about the game, yes, uh, we weren't good enough in that first and second half combined.
I'd say right until the 55th minute, right until then, and
Hmm.
then it could have been again. Then and then Sterling got the second one, but I put same old with Leicester, not close it down. It was a lovely ball by Reece James and a brilliant finish. However, you're looking at it from a Leicester perspective, going, "Come on, we could have done a little bit better to try and close players down in that." Sometimes that happens, and then then literally 4 minutes later, Barnes goes and scores a brilliant 1-2 with Vardy, and this is why I get so frustrated at Barnes. I know he's such a good player, and he has that when he's on it. Like again, after that 60 minutes, he's creating some opportunities down that left hand side. He's unplayable. He was turning Reece James over again and again, and on that right hand side, and which was fantastic to see. But that goal hopefully will help him kick on, and hopefully, you know how James Maddison goes on a run of form. Hopefully, we can see that with Harvey Barnes now, because overall in the game, after the 55 minutes, he played some fantastic football.
He did, and there is plenty of positives if you are rewatching this game with a cool head. But even though it leaves a very bad taste in our mouth because it was so close, it was very very close, and we could have grasped at least 1 point out of this fixture. And right now it is very bad because I think we are the second worst team after Bournemouth in terms of result, and that is hurting because the team is suffering due to this. They are not winning, they are not earning rewards for their hard work, and after a time it gets monotonous. Will you go next game is against Manchester United. They are on the rise, we are dropping down, so it doesn't get easier. And I don't see any mentality change from Brendan Rodgers. He's a very what do you call it, he's a very
Stubborn.
mild, no, I'd say mild in terms of being an authoritarian manager. He's not that, and the team is very lanky in terms of performing at their very best. Because again, we have to come back to the Fofana move. I didn't see, like, what are the players who are loyal getting out of this, because it sends a very wrong message throughout the entire locker room, and the effects can be felt. I think a lot of the performance that Leicester today put in was to show Wesley Fofana that you made a wrong choice and we are motivated to defeat Chelsea. But at the end of the day, it was not good enough. Yeah. The
But we
disparity of the
still played.
2016 season. Yeah. Hmm.
I agree, but at the same time, I agree, but because I've been lacking in so much to talk about, because our mentality's been through the floor. Brendan Rodgers made the wrong substitutions, and I have slated the manager publicly on this platform and in general. I have to give him credit where it's due, and he made some good substitutions, and the team kept going until the 94th, 95th minute, trying to score a goal. If you compare that to Southampton, where we were 1-0 up and we just took our foot off the gas, and we capitulated, and then Chelsea could have got a hat trick. You see how that changed, and it's just, again, it's only a week apart. And I think in terms of this and the way that we're playing, again, I'm not saying that we're going to play like, if this was a one-off game, I could say, right, this one off, lads, we did the best we could, move on.
Hmm.
But because I've seen so many poor mentality issues, I've got to give them credit, and I've got to give the manager credit, because certain players, like, again, I think what's it called? Try to find it. Yeah, Yuri Tillemans, giving the man credit. He did really well today. When they took Samori off, and I was
He
thinking,
did.
dropping him into the. I immediately went back to Tottenham. The Tottenham game where we end up throwing it away in the dying seconds of the game. Yuri Tillemans was at the heart of that and was giving it and was passing the ball where he needs to, breaking up the play, getting the team to go forward. And so him is one of them, but also Brendan Rodgers, fair play to him. He was committing men in numbers after the 55th minute. He wasn't prepared to just sit back and let us play. We were going for the attack. We were trying to get ourselves back in the game, and we did get a goal back in it. But yeah, it's a couple of things. One, Yuri Tillemans, because I think he deserves some credit for how he's played, considering he literally by the next game he might be gone in the window.
Hmm.
And two, Brendan Rodgers for, again, getting substitutions and going, right, we're going to go and attack the game, and we did, and we were in it for large parts of that second half. You could say, why don't we start like that? But he made the changes to change that in order to keep going.
Perhaps we could have even won if James Madison was available, because I thought in the attacking department and the lack of finish that we saw from Jamie Vardy. Often Jamie Vardy drops down and Madison goes up front. So that could have helped us either way. So nothing to take away from the manager. Yes, a system change is needed, but yeah, he played well. He held up well against Chelsea, but against 10 men, if this was again 11 versus 11, I could have given a lot more credit to Brendan Rodgers, but it was against 10 men. So that's
Yeah,
the only thing that is pinching me.
I get it, but it's because I've been so lacked of something positive to say for so long that I've got the opportunity to say it. And you know what? You are right. In terms of the 10 men and going into that game, I think I put in part of that coming into half time, have LCXC again about 45 minutes. I put in, have LCXC exploited Chelsea's 10 men issues enough? No. So I agree with you there. We didn't. And one thing as well to mention, Harvey Barnes again got a little contact. Mendy wasn't good enough. He was quite lucky, Mendy, I think, in my opinion, that he didn't end up coming off because that goal ended up standing. Yes, Barnes obstructed him, but Mendy was not near good. If I'm a Chelsea, I'm like, if I'm a Chelsea fan or Chelsea, I'm going, that's an issue. We need to sort that. If I'm an opposition playing Chelsea next, I'm going, that is something we need to target.
That was very soft. I just felt we were completely robbed of that. Chelsea often complain about all the things that are going wrong against them, but they don't need to forget that they're still a big six. Maybe not the favorite big four, but definitely within that six. And I've said big, not big three, but yeah, that happens. That gets dusted off under the curtains, under the carpet, because it starts and nobody will bat an eye over the next day, and people will forget that what happened initially, because this could have been a 2-2 game and all we can do is reminisce and complain of what happened, but nothing will like change. But yeah, we need now to rack up those wins or draws, because 40 feels like a long way, and I don't know how we can get it, because now we have the money. But if anywhere we go, anywhere we ask, I think every team is going to haggle and bargain way too much, because they know how deep our pockets are now. So
we can
just
we
don't
will definitely
understand.
have a separate video on that. Don't get me wrong. We'll get onto that. We'll try and stick to the match in terms of this one. But yeah, I think you're right in terms of the situation with Fafana, and again, that's going to be a whole video because there'll be lots to talk about there. I think, and I think that's something we'll have to
There
break up
is.
and potentially not do a preview because we have to just nail this one. And I think another one to mention as well. And yeah, Nacho again, he gets his feet wrong. Good pass from Tillemans, just dribbles it wide. He pulled his hand out. What's he called? Mendy pulled his hand out, but that could have just dribbled on the inside post, and it would have been, "What the hell are you doing, Mendy?" Really lucky for that. Oh, he timed it perfectly. Vardy, it's time we talk about Vardy. I don't want to slate him. However, few of them opportunities, I'm like, Jamie Vardy's got it. No, he hasn't, and he kind of bottles an opportunity once again. I don't want to slate Jamie Vardy, and I know he'll come good over the season. However, today he missed a few typical Jamie Vardy chances he should have finished.
2 to 3 chances. I think 2 to 3 good chances he missed today, and you know, doesn't look like the old Jamie Vardy. I understand he's getting old and everything, but there should be rotation. I don't understand why we are starting him off when Madison is also not available. I just don't understand the philosophy behind that.
So in
So
terms of
yeah,
this, sorry, the comment, but yeah, I know it's slightly different. But again, Fafana is going to be missed. I think coming back to what you were saying, Akash, but Evans and Amati as a double pair are too slow. 100% agree. Daniel Amati looks like to the championship. To be perfectly honest with you, in a back two, Kai Havertz, if he was awful today, genuinely bad. However, Daniel Amate was couldn't even keep up with him. But I think there was one time I remember there was a Daniel Amate loses it. Havertz goes, heavy touch, ends up with Ward, and I was like, that kind of sums up Daniel Amate. It was relying on Havertz to mess up in order to be less successful.
he was through, and just an extra touch just prevented the goal. And it happened a couple of times. I think during the end, Johnny Evans had to clear up his mess, because the Chelsea attacker got the best out of Amarta and he was left stranded in the flank. So a lot of errors was going in, and there is also that potential risk if we play attacking high line and we need to score an equalizer, then the back line becomes very fragile and deep pockets open up because we are not good at catching attackers on the counter. Very slow legs, can't get to the end of the line to have any shielding before Ward comes in. So, I mean, the line issue has been a persistent issue because throughout the first half of this match, our backline was deep, but in the second half we had to push it front and we were getting caught up. So
Mhm.
that's a very poor sign of not having enough cover. We're not playing the offside trap because they were coming in from the halfway line through balls, but we're not just up for it. And two wing backs were rushing in for aiding the attack. So pretty depleted in the back line.
Yeah, I think it was depleted, but at the same time, it's frustrating because again, defensively, it's some of the issue that they didn't look too again unmotivated and passive at times, and it would have been even worse if in that first half if Evans had gone down. And then my thought was, this is why you've given the. I don't understand why you've given the captaincy to Mark Albrighton, who's not going to come on the pitch, obviously, at that point, and would it feature in any of the substitutions as well? So giving him the vice captain, what sense does that make? That Arban's going to be passed over to probably Vardy, maybe Tillemans, or maybe KDH because Madison's missing as well. So yeah, in terms of that, I mean, we did kept trying and going, but it just didn't seem to happen. It just really didn't. And a few of the substitute again, but there's a couple of players that I just want to mention in particular. I mean, considering we didn't have James Madison, a few people mentioned James Madison, and again, something we have to talk about are set pieces. Terrible. Our set pieces are not good. And considering Chelsea, I think, from a set piece, because they were a man down and because they were a man down, also they didn't look great as set pieces. It was our opportunity, and we saw in the first half in terms of get a good ball in, if somebody's on the head of it, we can deliver. We didn't challenge them enough. They genuinely didn't challenge them enough for that position, which I was really frustrated about, to be honest. I think we should have done more to challenge their set pieces, especially with an extra man in the box.
Definitely, without James Madison, that department falls apart because when I saw KDH taking all those corners, they were not nowhere near good enough. And towards the end, those corners really win you games. A lot of teams have done it previously because everything is on their tiptoes. Everyone is just panicked whether a team will concede or a team will score. And with the goalkeeper coming in, it becomes of vital importance that you deliver something that can be made something out of, but it was nowhere near good enough. So that what I'm telling you, that too many individual talents in this team. Yeah, some are good, but whenever an injury comes up, we just fall apart. And that's why Somare, a man like Somare, is needed in this team because I don't think Papi Mendy is fit. Because again, if you don't have Hamza Chaudhary anymore, so if let's say one of our defensive midfielders goes out, one needs to play, one needs to be another backup because there can be two injuries. That's why we got Alex Smith is in, because any day a goalkeeper can go out, two goalkeepers can go out because we know our luck, right? And anything can
Mm.
happen. So definitely Somare needs to stay. I don't think selling off Somare to Monaco and then probably shifting our attention towards a dependent issue. We don't really need another defensive midfielder because we have Somare, and selling him then buying another one gets time to settle in, doesn't get the preseason, again we complain. It's a cycle of repetition. Don't need that. We got enough problems as it is. So I think the right winger issue is there, the defensive issue is now there was defensive issues before Fofana went out. So a lot of things need to be fixed before the launch of FIFA 23.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. Again, there is some issues. However, again, if we just take this in kind of my thoughts before the match and after the match have remained the same. I think we are in problems in terms of I've seen people in the comments talking about reckon we can go down. There's three worse teams than us. Not at the moment, but by the end of the season, we won't be in that bottom three. Genuinely believe that we won't be in the bottom three. We've got good enough quality to sort it out, but we need to sort it out now. I think people are being too narrow-minded and seeing it just for the result. However, it is again in terms of the performance. That's what I want to see, and We didn't see the performance in that. We won't see the performance when we get the result that we needed. A couple of results will take us far up the table, and you're looking at again. Look how Liverpool have now changed, winning 9-0, considering the run they just had before changes their mentality. That's all it is. Man United, one win takes them up a little bit more. People are very fickle and seeing it as a thing. My mode has been the same since about. I don't believe in the manager and the tactics. However, today, considering the opposition we're playing, the ground, and considering at times we went toe to toe with them, and it was more. I don't know how to describe it, Akash. It was exciting, but it's because both teams were rubbish.
Yeah, I get your point. Both teams were rubbish, and we need to sort that out because, again, as I say, it's essentially, you know, I think two teams are very well booked for the relegation. Their tickets are almost punched. I think 2 to 3 games more, and we will see clarity in I said Bournemouth or somebody else. But that one spot remains, and to get out of that, we need to be racking up points. And that first all important win, I don't know from where does it come. If it comes, after a long time when the competitions open and every big team has a fixture congestion, we do a Leicester. But I'm just desperate for it by now, and I think we came pretty close after the first game of the season where we were inching towards the victory and we just let it out. Today was another day. I think we came pretty close, and as a neutral, I think as a neutral, anybody would appreciate because an unfair goal was chalked off. So we came close. This is a stalemate opportunity, but it didn't happen. So we need to move on to the next game. And yeah, the pattern which Brendan Rodgers has got in this game, I would like to see that intensity being kept up and progressed from here. Definitely some changes in the back line. Maybe Sonju deserves a chance, but Amart is just giving too many chances for the opposition for my liking. That's not something that I can sit and.
People are saying we're losing against United, which again we're going to have a preview at. We're going to try and bunch it together. We're going to have a preview at Wednesday at 8 o'clock with Flawless. If you know this channel, you know I'm a massive fan of his. We do Shameless together, so he'll be a great guy to have on. Again, give his honest and truthful opinion about, which I love that. So yeah, we're going to talk about him, and then we'll do the preview of the press conference right after that. So you get a bonus 2-hour live stream for you guys. So you're looking forward to that. Make sure to get in touch. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Akash. I think it is what we are. We are in a more than a rut at the moment. And if for people are saying that we can't beat Chelsea with 10 men, totally agree. But is that worse than not being So the way I look at it is obviously it's bad. We can't beat Chelsea with 10 men. It is a Chelsea team. You compare that to last week, and we were 1-0 ahead at home. Brendan Rodgers makes some substitution. They don't work out, and we end up losing the game. But that one for me, at least we ended the game terribly. I was like, blow the final whistle, blow the final whistle. With this one, I was like, don't blow the final whistle. We could potentially score. It didn't work out. But again, we can't keep doing this. We can't just keep being a victim of our own success. Evening, Doug. 9-0, mate. Nice one. It wasn't Southampton, but yeah, next thing you'll know, we'll be buying their players if you're Brendan Rodgers. But yeah, well done for the 9-0. Again, go subscribe to Dugout Football Channel. Lovely, lovely dude. Great to see him in the comments as well. I think there was, Leicester I Died TV is again. Best performance, but West Ham beat Villa tomorrow, and we will be bottom. We're in the bottom three. Are we bottom at the moment? Oh yeah, we've only got 1 point so far, so we are -4 goal difference. It's not looking pretty at the moment, Chris. Really not. Again, make sure you go subscribe to Leicester Till I Die TV or on YouTube and follow them on Twitter and all that lovely stuff. There was one more from Brad. I think Brad mentioned way early in the comments. But yeah, it's a matter of opinion on YouTube. Make sure you go and subscribe to that. It's a frustrating one, but I feel better than I've done before. Remember the rant that we had again against even against Arsenal, and I'm fed up saying the same things again and again. We are in a rut. We are in a hole. The transfers we will talk about a little bit later, but I think there is some. They've not completely thrown in the towel because I put in after the first goal. Now you show your mentality. What's your mentality like now after you concede one? I didn't manage to see the manager, but before the Arsenal game, head down, walking off, not even looking, not even bothered. He made some substitutions that, right, we can get back in the game. Maybe it was because it was 10 men, but it is Chelsea. So it kind of evens itself up. I'm not having the, oh, yeah, we down tools. We should have scored. We should have won that game. We genuinely, and I can't believe, Akash, genuinely, before this game, I can't believe we would say we should have won that game coming into it. But we ended up losing. But the performance is something to build on, that it shows the players haven't completely just gone, I'm not interested anymore. Even though we lost, I'm still seeing signs that some people care, and that as a fan is important.
Definitely, some people do care, even if they are not up to the quality. I think team really needs that win. After that first win, I think we will see clarity. A lot of players will be motivated yet again to do their best, and their performance will improve and will not lose the games in which the chances are 50-50. And that what has given us a stale start to the season. And you can't really be happy and content at this moment. I know you are seeing a bright side and you think we can build upon it, but it's been going for far too long, and the fan side may has just shut off. I don't expect anything anymore until that thing happens. I'll surely cheer up after that, but right now it's very hard to generate any sort of optimism from this team, from the results and everything as a whole. What everything is going behind closed doors. The time is running out. Transfer window. A lot of pressure to take as a fan. So
So, so from
yeah,
this, just a quick question. So, in terms of how you feel, I feel, so obviously I'm not happy that we lost. I'm not happy that. So, do you feel the same way after the Southampton game, the Arsenal game, and the Brentford game, as this game? Because we got kind of 0 points as part of that as well. We got 1 point out of the three, but
not the
and even the
Brentford
Brentford
game.
game feels like a loss. Do you feel the same way throughout
Brent,
them?
Brentford game we lost. This one we were robbed. Southampton game, yeah, our own fault.
Should have lost more.
But the Brentford game really
Hmm.
hurt the most probably.
I agree. Well, I know that Brendan's not going anywhere just anytime soon. Well, he might be, again, depending on what's happening with the Fofana deal. Again, we'll get into that a little bit later. But I think we're in a position now where I'm genuinely not sure what happens, but at least I've seen something that I'm proud of a little bit. And I can go and I go, do you know what? I'm proud of my team. Because, again, for those of you that haven't, make sure to go and listen to this week's analysis. I don't know if you have that in India as well. Dominic Wells on the BBC, Dominic J. Wells, really good statistician on a really good tactics and analyst, I can't speak, on Twitter. He did a thing with Owen Palmer-Atkin where they analysed the few games and they showed the substitutions that didn't work. And 11 minutes of just him basically going, Brendan Rodgers made horrible substitutions that lost us games and dropped us points. This I actually saw the reverse, but it's just going to keep. For me personally, I'm not saying we're going to like build on this in terms of get better. I'm seeing the players haven't completely given up, which is going from a 0 to a 1 in confidence because literally it was on the floor. I'm more seeing that this cycle will continue, and I believe the cycle will continue. But I'm just hoping that something comes soon because from a neutral's perspective, this probably looks a little bit better. And you're speaking about neutral, and I was going to mention this point earlier. If you're a neutral and you're watching this, why would you not turn over to a 9-0? Why would you not turn over to go and see Man City come from 2 goals behind to then 4-2? So with us looking 2-1, as a neutral, I'm changing channels. I'm genuinely going to I'm going to another channel because I want to see
Yeah, both
history being
teams.
made.
Yeah, Chelsea were not themselves. We really
No.
dropped down a lot. Yeah, I understand. No fun for neutrals in this one.
Yeah.
They will check the highlights and nitpick other stuffs. And yeah, I heard a lot of good things about Dominic's appearance on that show. Dominic, for those who don't know, is a co-worker of mine at Foxes of Leicester. So
Fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, great
yeah,
to see. Anything, Akash, I think, is there anything else you want to say? Because I think we've exhausted everything, but I feel better. We use this as therapy because you've using the comments as therapy as well. So thank you for all getting your comments in. If you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great. Thank you for the amount of comments you've been getting in. Sorry I couldn't get to them all, but anything you want to say, Akash?
I would say Leicester, please surprise me in the next one.
They will continue
That's
to
it.
surprise me. And we'll be here doing the
Yeah.
post-match. We've got some great videos coming out for you soon in terms of Wesley Fofana. We're going to be looking at, again, the Man United game, because that's another game where we should be doing something. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. Make sure you follow Akash over there on Twitter. Again, link in the description as well. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.